This is Ryan Elliott for Boxing Social in association with Betfred. I'm in Las Vegas down at the Team Barry gym. Delighted to be joined for the first time by Joseph Parker. Joe, nice to see you. How you doing?
I'm doing good. We are, good to see you guys. Obviously, we're down here at the gym to get a workout in, but overall, everything's good and in a good place, and very happy.
You're back in action next weekend after sort of frustrating end to 2019 against Shondell Winters. How's the mood? Are you just happy to be back in the ring and back doing what you love best?
The mood. I'm just happy that I have a fight lined up. After, being out of the ring for nearly a year. The last time I fought was June 2019. So that's a long time ago. Shondell Winters, when I look at his record, from 13 wins, he's got 12 knockouts. So it's a decent pop. I think he's a fighter who's going to come and give it everything. He's got nothing to lose. And I'm just excited for the opportunity to be in the ring again. I know a lot of people wanted me to fight, top opponents, or someone highly ranked or ranked higher than he is, but people don't really. I don't think people know that the offers that we had out there with other opponents or other fighters, Maurice Whyte, Dubois, Hammer, who else was there? Helenas. So there was a lot of offers out there, and I guess he's the one that took the fight and wanted it, and so we're preparing for Shondell Winters, as you know.
Now, the last time you were on the channel, I believe Rob came and saw you just after Spider Bite Gate, and we talked through it all and that frustration you had. We were just talking off camera about dealing with the inactivity that followed, though, because you've been a very active fighter. You never shied away from any challenge put in front of you. What was it like to all of a sudden have the frustration of being out in a big fight and losing that bit of momentum as well? Yeah,
when I look back at our career, 2014, 15, and 16, we had 5 fights in those 3 years, and then I think, if I'm correct, 17 3 fights, 2018 3, and then 2019 had 1. Frustrating because obviously I like to keep active as a fighter. Frustrating because I knew that the Chisora fight would have been a great fight. I love to challenge myself, and I thought that at the time he would have been a great challenge. He still is, still is an opportunity to fight him, and it still be a great challenge. But just frustrating not being able to. When you know what you can do and then you're not able to do it in the ring. So things happen for a reason, and it wasn't the best year for us, but we're going to go into 2020 and give it everything we have. And for me, I think it's great to start the year off early. February's pretty early in the year, and hopefully we can fit in 3-4 fights this year.
We'll come on to what could be in 2020. Obviously, you've got Shondell Winters in front of you next weekend. Have you seen much of him? Do you know what to expect at all?
Yeah, I've seen a bit of him that I could find, and mostly, like I said, the record. And he's come off some good wins, beating 2 undefeated fighters. So he's, I guess, with that, he's pretty confident. But other than that, I didn't really know of the guy before the fight was announced.
Now, you say you want to be out 3 times this year, all being well, and you've sort of shook off that little bit of ring rust and got the win next weekend. What sort of names remain your top priority? There's the Derek Chisora fight still there, with maybe Usyk not quite being ready for that fight. A Whyte rematch. What is your top priority?
Hopefully everything goes well next week. I would like to fight anyone in the top 10, top 15. Whoever wants it can get it. I love a rematch with Whyte. I think the first fight was a great fight. He won, but I know that I can beat him. And I like, Chisora is still an option. There's all these other options out there. Big fights. I think the heavyweight division is booming and on fire at the moment. I need to get past this guy in order to be, within the big fights myself.
With all the belts being tied up, obviously I'm out here for Wilder Fury 2, the WBC title. Looks like Anthony Joshua's going to have a couple of mandatories to deal with this year. Is it about establishing yourself as the best of the rest, so to speak? Yeah, I know that I belong at the top. No doubt. I just got to show it and prove it. That's pretty simple, There's really not much to say about it. I know that I'm one of the best in the world, so it's time for me to just go out there and do my thing. Let's talk heavyweight boxing elsewhere. As I mentioned, I am out here for Wilder Fury 2 coming up this weekend. WBC world title, huge rematch. First things first, Tyson Fury made a quite surprising change of leaving Ben Davison and swapping for Sugar Hill. He says it's because he wants to take a more aggressive approach in the fight. Do you believe Tyson when he says he's going to come out looking for the knockout?
He says a lot of things, but I do believe that with this new team he has, and what he said he's going to do, I believe he's going to come out and not so much take it to him, but it's going to be a bit of both. Movement, take it to a movement. I thought, Ben Davison was a great trainer, but, I think he might have seen that he needed a bit of a change. And you never know. You never know with Tyson Fury. He can go with this trainer, that trainer, have these people. And it's for him. I think he just wants to experience new things and new people. But at the end of the day, it's going to come down to the fight on Saturday. Big fight.
Now, with Tyson, you said there you don't expect him to go out and fully take it to him, but maybe a bit more aggressive. How does he manage that, maybe throwing in a bit more aggression with not getting carried away against who is arguably the most dangerous puncher on this planet right now?
Yeah, to be honest, I don't know what the plan they have is going into this fight, but I believe whatever plan they have, and if he executes it well, he can come away with the win. I support him and back him, but ultimately I think it's going to be a great fight.
Now, obviously, we've got the Ring Magazine #1 and 2 here. The Ring Magazine belt is on the line. There's always the talk of that top 3 of Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua. I appreciate any undisputed fight would sort of put your world title ambitions on hold temporarily, but how important do you think it is when we've got this sort of rivalry cleared up between Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury that we do decide who is the best of this era with an undisputed fight?
I think it's very important. I think because not only the fighters want to see who the #1 is, but I think the fans and supporters want to see who's the best in the world. So, hopefully, whatever happens with the fight this weekend, whoever wins, hopefully everyone can come to agreement on making a mega fight happen and see who the best is in our era.
So a couple of things I wanted to get your thoughts on, Joseph, before I let you sort of crack on with your other interviews and your training, of course, which is why you're here. Do you expect Anthony Joshua to face Kubrat, his mandatory challenger? We're expecting an announcement sort of imminently. What do you make of that as a fight for Anthony Joshua in his homecoming fight, so to speak?
I think it's a great fight for him. I think he's, his last fight, he put on a great performance. For me, I feel he has more, just youth on his side, and, he's, every fight he's improving and getting better. So I think it's a good fight for him to go back into the UK, and I think he'll put on a great performance.
Now, I just want to ask you about the mood in this gym at the minute. Obviously, you're back on the trail and looking to get big fights lined up sort of in the sort of later part of 2020. I was speaking to Barry as well about Guido Vianello. I know you guys have a lot of great sparring, not only with each other, but with other people coming in as well. What's the mood like at the minute around here?
The mood's a great mood in this gym. We come in to the gym, everyone's happy to be working, and we get the job done. But we have some great, like you said, we got some good sparring. We had Guido, there's Umar, there's Takim coming to camp. I think there's going to be a bit of work with Joyce. So at the end of the day, it's a great gym to be a part of.
You mentioned Umar Salamov there. It looks like you could have another world title challenger in your ranks in the very near future. Bit of a hidden gem still amongst particularly where we're from, the British fans, maybe even the American audience. It looks like he is going to get that world title shot, possibly stateside as well. How excited should the boxing fans be about your stable mate? Oh,
they should be very excited. I believe, Umar Salamov is a great talent, and I have experienced sparring with him. He's, for light heavyweight, he's very tall. Good punch selection, fast, good movement. So sometimes when I'm in the ring, he's a bit tricky, but I think he'll be, I think under the guidance of Kevin and having the great support team around him, I think he'll accomplish some big things in boxing.
You mentioned Joyce was in here not so long ago. He's actually flown out to Las Vegas for his camp ahead of the Daniel Dubois fight. We were out there for the announcement of the fight not so long ago. Huge fight for British boxing, heavyweight boxing as well. Have you seen much of Daniel Dubois, and how big a fight is this as well for the future of the heavyweight division?
I think it's a little early for them to fight each other. I think they've still got a lot of, there would have been other fights, but I guess both of them are just so confident in their abilities that they've taken this fight, and I think it's a great fight for the UK fans. It's Joyce is a little older than his opponent, and I guess I think it's going to be explosive.
They both deserve the credit. You said maybe a bit soon, they perhaps didn't need that. Daniel Dubois in particular, so young, could have been guided down a much different route, probably a bit slower, a bit easier. That said, he believes in himself, as does Joe. How much credit do they deserve for throwing their hats in the ring for this fight?
I think they should get some good credit for this fight. It's a fight where, like I said, they could have taken different steps or different paths and then meet later on in the future, but they've both taken it and they're both confident. We hear from Dubois that he's very confident. Joyce is confident. So I think with two confident fighters, they're going to be, it's going to be a good fight to watch with a lot of action, and I think it'll be a war.
Two final things before I let you go, Joe, just to sort of conclude the interview off. We were talking about that huge heavyweight rematch. Can I get an official prediction for Wilder Fury 2 Saturday evening? What do you think?
Fantastic fight. I'll have to back Fury for this one. Boxing ability, but it's going to be a great fight, you know. But I support Fury.
And the final one for you, Joe, back in the ring next weekend, what the fans can expect to see, and how excited are you to sort of put on a performance and get yourself back in that mix? It's such an exciting time for the heavyweight division.
Yeah, I just want to go out there and have fun and get the job done. And my goal is to win well and look good doing it. So that's all I'll say on that.
Joe, thank you as always. Speaking of Boxing Social, best of luck. Good luck next weekend. We'll catch you very soon.
Thank you.